Okay, so my name is Joan Wrabetz, and I am here with Gil Sever, the founder and CEO of Applitools. And Gil's going to tell us a little bit about what his company does. I bet you're going to introduce that video. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you, Joan. So Applitools developed a whole new method for testing, automatically testing mobile application, web applications on all web browsers, on all mobile devices, in all sizes and form factors automatically. And we have a video here to show you how it works.
In today's world, UI is the face of your application. It determines if the user will use your application or throw it in the recycle bin. But with today's rapid development cycles, the amount of browsers, operating systems, devices, form factors, and screen resolutions, it is more difficult than ever to test if your application appears right on each. The only current solution is to use manual testers, and this takes a lot of time and money. Applitools has come up with a revolutionary solution to the problem. Applitools Eyes, the first automated software testing tool that tests your application like a manual tester does, only much faster and more accurately. Applitools Eyes uses a revolutionary cognitive vision technology that makes it completely different from any existing testing tool. Applitools Eyes detects any visual difference between two screen displays and can replace hundreds of lines of testing code with one smart visual scan. For example, Applitools Eyes can test a web application on Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, and more in as many screen resolutions as you like. Or can test a mobile application on iPhone, iPad, and mini iPad in portrait or landscape. Starting to use Applitools Eyes is easy and fast. All you need to do is add calls to Applitools Eyes cloud service from your existing automated tests, or send it screen captures of your application, and you will get the added benefit of visual UI validation immediately. Applitools Eyes would work with any existing test automation framework, such as Selenium, Appium, HPQTP, Microsoft Coded UI, and more, and would link to your existing ALM framework. Go to applitools.com and sign up for a free account today.
All right, we're done. No.
Exactly.
Okay, so why don't you, Gil, tell us a little bit about who's this product for, who's going to buy it, who's your user?
So our users are everyone that develops applications, mobile applications, web applications, even desktop native applications. It's either the developers, the front-end developers, or the test automation guys. And we also see DevOps guys that use our solution to monitor their website or the application in production. Because it works not only in a sterile test environment, but also when your application or website is in production.
Okay, that's cool. So it looks like you can test sort of user interface, visual differences. Can you go further because you're using a different approach?
Yes, so actually what happens is that our customers, and we have customers like big companies like CA, AOL, HP, companies that develop mobile applications like Viber, audio codes, and so on, and many startup companies. So initially, they start using our product, our tool, to test the visual aspects, like if something has changed on a certain screen, under a certain browser, on a certain mobile device. But then, as they continue to use the product, we see that they are doing more and more functional tests because it's much easier to test when you look at a screen or everything that is reflected in the GUI of an application. You can check and test many functional issues like whether everything is organized in the right way, whether the results, even the numbers or the results or the reports are okay. And they see that it's much easier to do like one visual comparison, which is done automatically by us, instead of writing hundreds of lines of code to validate it.
Okay, good. So what do they do today? They're not using your product yet, let's just say, right? So how does it work today, and then how does it work afterwards?
So what we see today is, first of all, as we've shown on the video, people are using many manual testers to test their applications, but then it takes a lot of time. Many people do it, and they miss a lot of details, even though they look at, because they're looking at screens all day. So this doesn't provide a good solution, especially for companies that are interested in automating the entire process of the software development. And the testing, the manual testing, is one of the last bottlenecks which actually prevents companies that use continuous integration or continuous development from doing it fully automatically. So they do it manually today, but we can help them move to the next stage and make a great jump. And just as an example, one of our customers, Wix, used to test every new release for like 3 weeks with 30 guys, and after using Applitools Eyes, it actually, they ended up with 3 guys that test everything in 2 days and actually test 10 times more than they used to test before.
You brought up this example. I want you to tell us a little more about it because I think it's really interesting. Tell us about that company, because they're not the developer of a single website, right?
Right. I mean, Wix develops an infrastructure that allows simple users to build their own website without need to code anything. And they have over 20 million websites, maybe now even more than that. And whenever they change their infrastructure, there are 20 million websites that can be affected. And they need to make sure that nothing has changed on those websites. So when I mentioned that they used like 30 guys for 3 weeks, they actually only tested like the 200 most common themes that they had. We actually do 4,000 tests in those 2 days that I mentioned with 3 guys. And that's one of the big differences. But there are many examples. For instance, now we are in a trial with the Federal Reserve Bank, and they also changed their website infrastructure, and they have more than 80,000 web pages. And they need to make sure that after these changes, all these 80,000 web pages will look the same on all browsers, on all devices, and so on. And it's a huge manual task, and with us, they can do it very fast and continue to do it and monitor it all the time automatically.
Right. Give us another minute about what is this cognitive, what did you call it, cognitive?
Cognitive vision.
Yeah.
So
what makes it special?
Yeah. So our core technology is image processing technology, and people have ran into this problem in the past, and what the result was that some open source projects have been developed. One of them securely in the MIT, and then Huxley by Facebook, and Perceptual Diff in Google, and so on. But the visual comparison done there is a bitmap comparison. And with multiple browsers, multiple devices, multiple form factors, the false positive ratio is huge. So it practically doesn't allow you to do extensive testing of your application. Perceptual, I mean, what we do, cognitive vision, we actually imitate the human eye and brain, so we can differentiate between, if let's say the digit 2 has turned into 3, but at the same time, if an entire column on the screen moves 2 pixels to the right, you won't notice it, and we won't report it as a problem. So that's what we allow, and we also allow to ignore things like ads and things that change on the screen, so we allow ignore regions. We allow floating regions, so if you're testing something in production, and let's say you're supposed to get an email or certain message, but it can appear on different places on the screen, you can still do it with us, because we would know, we would not just compare the bitmap, we will actually see and see if it's what the user is expecting to see. So actually what we test, and the way we test is actually the way your customer, or our customer's customer, would test the application he's using.
Tell us a little bit about the business model. Is it free for everyone?
So we actually use a freemium model. We just started about 7 months ago, so we already have like 2,500 users that opened the free account. Out of these 2,500 users, some 250 are running it extensively on a weekly or a daily basis. and we have like 50 paying customers, and the paying customer actually pays between 80 to $100 per month for concurrent runs. So let's say if Wix, for instance, are running 30 tests in parallel, they are buying 30 licenses. But if someone just develops an application in a small team, in a startup, and by the way, we have a startup special pricing, but like he would only need to buy 1 or 2 or 3 licenses, and it would cost him $200 per month. So that's the model.
Great. Any questions? Nope, you're cutting me off. Oh. If anyone wants to find Gil, he's here for the rest of the day.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Joan. Thank you.